Namanmohabdhaye namaha Anantananda Krishnaya Jaganmangala Murtaye Ahamasmi sada bhami Kadachinnahamappriyaha Brahmaivahamatassidham Satchidananda Lakshanam. 10th verse. Suptehamina drishyante dukkha dosha pravruttayaha atastasyaiva samsaraha name samsritra sakshinaha. If you say that the ahankara, the I notion, the I sense, is not the Âtmā because it is absent in the deep sleep state, and the survivor is Âtmā, then the experience of sleep should be attributed to Âtmā, your Âtmā, whatever Âtmā you say. If sleep is a state of experience which the Âtmā undergoes, then it is but proper to concede or conclude that the Âtmā undergoes the other two states of experience. See the argument? If the ahankara is absent in deep sleep and experience of sleep is there, that experience of sleep should be imputed to Âtmā. If the experience of sleep is imputed to Âtmā, Âtmā means I, the awareness that we talk about, then the waking up, dream, both these states also should be for the Âtmā. If that is so, then Âtmā is samsari, because it undergoes change. Now sleeping, now waking up. So if it has got states of experience, then the lot in the experiences, the changes in the experiences also in a given state of experience, such as sorrow, fear, anxiety, isolation, all these things also should be traced only to Âtmā, not elsewhere. Therefore, Âtmā becomes a becoming self, an isolated becoming self. This is the argument for which he says, it's not true. Suptaha suptim na janati. Suptaha, the one who has gone to sleep, suptim na janati, cannot experience sleep. Suptaha suptim na janati. The ahankara, even though has gone to sleep, but then the ahankara has gone to sleep, it means the ahankara is absent. The I sense, the ego sense or I sense is not there in deep sleep. That means the ahankara has gone to sleep. Ahankara has gone to sleep, therefore suptim na janati. Doesn't know that it has gone to sleep. How can it know? Because it has already slept. The slept ahankara does not know that I slept. But then you know that there was sleep. Therefore, the sushupti, the deep sleep state, is a state wherein the ahankara is there in a very subtle and manifest form. The ahankara is not totally absent, has not totally disappeared, it has gone only to sleep. It is unmanifest. Itself cannot say that I slept, because it has slept already. Sleep is an experience which is known to you. And therefore, I would say, there is a sakshi, there is a sakshi of the sleep state, which should be the Âtmā. He says, therefore, suptaha suptim na janati, and the one who has not slept, since you know that I slept well, there is someone who has not slept. The non-sleeping I is one who non-sleeping I cannot have dream or waking, because for the sleeping there can be dream, there can be waking. His own argument. For the sleeping there can be dream and waking. If the ahankara has slept, then you cannot say I slept. Your ahankara is the Âtmā. I cannot say I slept, because ahankara has gone to sleep. But still I say, since I know the one who was sleeping is the one who is awake now, since that recollection being there, Âtmā is distinct from deep sleep state, for Âtmā has not slept. If it has slept, there can't be any experience of sleep. You can't recount the experience, or you cannot recollect the I, so as having experience of sleep. You remember, in the morning you say, I had gone through sleep. The one who slept is the one who is awake. Since this pratyabhijna, this self-recollection being there, then in the deep sleep state, there was someone who is awake. That someone who is awake can be only Âtmā, the I. And if in the deep sleep, if there is someone who has not slept, okay, one who has not slept, then he doesn't wake up also. And therefore, for the non-sleeping self, I, there is no waking up in terms of dream or waking, Jagrata Avastha. Therefore he says, Suptaha suptim na janati, asupte na swapna jagrau. So asupte Âtmani, the Âtmā, the self which has not gone to sleep, for that, in that self, in that Âtmā, means for that Âtmā, there is no swapna jagrau. There is no swapna or dream or waking state, because he has not slept. The slept will wake up. Whoever slept will wake up. The non-sleeping doesn't wake up. Therefore, Âtmā doesn't have the three states of experience. So, it's only for the ahankara. It's very clear. Asuptau, asupte, swapna jagarau, na bhavataha. Therefore, jagrat swapna sushuptinam sakshi, aham, ataha. Therefore, aham, I am the sakshi, witness of what all the three states of experience, the waking, the dream and deep sleep. This is what we say Turiyaha. Turiyaha means Chaturtha, the fourth one. The fourth one is the one. Understand? He is the one. So because the other three have their being in the Âtmā, which we have already unfolded as pure awareness, defined as Sat and Chit and Ananda. So that Âtmā alone is the basis and the truth and content of sleep, waking and dream. There is no line, there is no state for the Âtmā. That is what we say the fourth. So there is no fourth state of consciousness, in the sense fourth also is not a state. If fourth also is a state, then we require a fifth consciousness which is not a state. Understand? The fifth one you require. So the fourth is not a state. Fourth is the truth of the three states of experience, and therefore they say the fourth in the fourth state of consciousness and all that talking, and therefore the fourth is not a state, fourth is the vastu. The three states of experience, they are states, all right, depend entirely upon all the three, upon the vastu, the thing, which is the thing means the thing in itself, or whatever the Chaitanya, the Âtmā, which is awareness, which is Sat, the being, which is awareness, and which has no limitation as we saw. And that Âtmā alone is the content of all the three states of experience. At the same time, we are constrained to call it as the fourth because you count to three. Exactly like an actor who assumes three states, three roles he assumes. So in one role he is, in one play he is a king, in another play he is a monk, in a third play he is a beggar, in all the three states, in all the three roles. So the person who plays the role is the same. But then if you want to know who is the person, I have to say he is not the king, he is not the minister or monk, nor he is the beggar. So neither he is the king, nor he is the minister, nor he is the beggar. Then who is he? He is the fourth one. And therefore you are looking for a fourth fellow. In fact, the three are not there. Where is the fourth? All that is there is one fellow. Who is the king? Who is the minister? Who is the beggar? And himself is independent of all the three. This is the beauty of person and role. In person-role relationship, the role is, while the role is not independent of the person is independent of the role. And as long as he maintains the distance, then the distance, you understand, there is no real physical distance. The distance is purely wrought by self-awareness, self-identity. The role is recognized as a role. The person remembers himself as a person. As long as he remembers that I am the person, there is no physical distance. Even though there is no physical distance between the person and the role's problems do not travel to affect the person. Why? Because there's a distance. How do you get the distance? Well, the distance is the retention of self-identity. Because there is a truth. The truth establishes the distance. What is the truth? While the role is not away from the person is independent of the role. So one is dependent, is an assumed status. The other is the person. So one is the reality, the other is only an incidental status which does not bring about any intrinsic change upon the person, and therefore that retention of self-identity keeps him away from the problems that the role undergoes. Okay? It's clear? And so here also, the waking, dream and deep sleep states, these three are not really three. They are three states of experience. Each of them depends entirely upon the person. And in each state, every experience, also remember, this is only trying to put them together. So I have told you before, every single piece of experience, like a sight now, or like hearing now, or like an experience of smell or taste, or a thought or doubt, whatever is the experience, in this the invariable is I. Then you group them all as a state, because there is such a distinct states of experience we have, such as waking, then there is sleep, and in between you have dream. Since we have these three states of experience, then you cover it in general. So the waking state of experience, dream state of experience, sleep state of experience, all the three experiences are strung in only one experience as such. What is that experience? It's called Upalabdhi. Upalabdhi means experience as such, that is awareness, that is experience. Content of every experience is the Chaitanya Atma awareness. And that is why there is no special experience you require. You don't require a special experience. You require a recognition of that experience, which is the experience of all experiences. So which is called Upalabdhi, which is the Chaitanya, which is recognized here as one who is, he says, one who is, so one who has not slept. Therefore wakings and dream do not belong to that Atma. Therefore Jagrat Swapna Sushuptinam Ataha Sakshi Atma Aham Tasmat Atadrishaha. Atadrishaha. Atadrishaha means I am not like the Ahankara. Atadrishaha. I am not like Ahankara, who undergoes a state of waking and dream. He undergoes all the vikaras, changes, etc., all the modifications. Not for the Atma. It never undergoes any change. Which he explains in a different form in the next verse. Vijnana viratish suptihi tajjanma swapna jagarau tatsakshinah katam mesyuhu nityajnanasya tetrayaha. Vijnana viratihi suptihi. Suptihi means sleep. What is sleep? He gives the definition of sleep. So the definition of sleep is Vijnana viratihi. Viratihi means resolution. The resolution of all Vijnana. Viratihi also Upashama. The resolving or dissolving laya. So of viratihi, the resolution of all or dissolution of all Vijnanam forms of knowledge. All forms of knowledge, such as knower known knowledge we have in dream, in waking also. So this Ayaham idam janami, I know this object. So when I say I know this object here, so then there is a Vijnanam. This is called Vijnanam, Vishesha Jnanam, Vijnanam. So this Vijnana in waking state, I see this, I know this. Okay. In dream also, I know this is there. And so the Ahankara assumes their Ahankara is available as the subject there. So I know this. Iti, the subject is available there in waking as well as in dream. Whereas in deep sleep state, there is no such Vishesha Jnanam. There is no special knowledge, particular knowledge is not there. Absence of particular knowledge is called sleep. It makes it clear in this form. Absence of particular knowledge is called sleep. Why? Because the whole Ahankara has gone to sleep. Means the Antakarana, the mind is sleeping now. In the mind there is, when the mind is awake, there is subject-object relationship, either in dream or in waking. But whereas in deep sleep, so the mind has gone to sleep, the Ahankara has gone to sleep, there is no special knowledge at all. Vijnana viratihi suptihi, a definition. Now, tajjanma swapna jagarau. Vijnanasya janma, the birth of that Vijnana, the birth of knowledge means, so the knower known knowledge, this difference, this Vijnana knowledge is there, then you find the birth of that knowledge is what is called swapna jagarau, particular knowledge. Knowledge of this or that. In deep sleep, I did not know anything particular. That is called sleep. It is one blanket experience. It's a one black experience. Experience of black. No, the whole thing is blackened. So here that is a blackout experience in deep sleep. There is no particular knowledge at all. All the differences, so the differentiated knowledge as we have here, Vijnanam, Vishesha Jnanam. So this is a pot, this is a chair, this is a man, this is a woman. This is this, like this in dream and waking as we have. We don't have any such thing in deep sleep state. Like even, so when your eyes are open, the place is totally dark. There is no Vishesha Jnanam at all. perceptually speaking, visual perception wise, there is no particular knowledge. One in the darkness. So under the blanket of darkness, nothing is seen, nothing visibly seen. Now similarly, in deep sleep, there is one ajnanam, ignorance is there. There is no vishesha jnanam. There is no particular knowledge. Vijnana veratihi suptihi. Tad janma, vijnanasya janma, the birth of that knowledge, which was absent in deep sleep, is either dream or waking. Swapna jagara. Therefore, tat sakshinah katam mesyuhu. Now here he says that there was no, when I say this, you accept it. There is no particular knowledge in sleep. When I say, do you believe or you accept it? Tell me. You believe or as a fact you accept it? Eh? You accept it as a fact. That means you know it already. I am only making a restatement. It's called anuvada. I am only making a restatement. It is not that you believe. Swamiji told me in deep sleep there is nothing there. I think therefore I should believe that there is nothing. So it's not so. So when I make this statement that there is nothing in the deep sleep state, you understand this very clearly. There is no vishesha jnanam in deep sleep. Swamiji, in sleep I see things. There is always a fellow, I tell you, who can ask this question. So in sleep, Swami, when I sleep, I see things. That means you don't sleep. Then what do you do? That is why we have got another word for such sights. We have got another word, and that is called a dream. Okay? That is called dream. Then sleep is, I don't see anything. This is not a belief. It is a fact known to you. If it is a fact known to you, then there is absence of particular knowledge is a fact known to you. That means you are accepting somebody who is looking at the absence of knowledge. There is somebody. That somebody cannot be your father-in-law. It cannot be anybody outside. It is your own experience, and therefore there is a sakshi involved. There is a sakshi involved. That sakshi, witness. There is a witness is involved there. Tasmat says, tat sakshinaha. So tat sakshi, tesham, sakshinaha means, so the jagrat sushupti, jagrat swapna sushupti, these three states of experience, waking, dream and deep sleep, for all of them, sakshi, that there is janma, the birth of the deep sleep is known to you. No, the birth of the dream means the waking, vishesha vijnanam. When there is vishesha vijnanam, particular knowledge is there, dream, that is known to you. Then waking also, vishesha vijnanam is there, known. Vishesha vijnanam means particular knowledge is there, known to you. In deep sleep, there is absence of any particular knowledge known to you. Therefore, there is a witness for all the three. It establishes a witness for all the three. The Smart says, so tat sakshinaha me katam syuhu nitya jnanasya me kat sakshinaha nitya jnanasya me katam te trayaha syuhu. So, how these three things, te trayaha, so those three things, what are they? The three states of experience, waking, dream and deep sleep. So how can they be for me who is a sakshi? What kind of sakshi? Not an incidental, occasional sakshi. Nitya sakshinaha. Nitya sakshinaha means an eternal sakshi. What is a sakshi? A sakshi is one who doesn't take on the qualities of what he witnesses. That is a sakshi here. And so like even the light which lights up the Swami, or it lights up a book here, Vedanta book it lights up, or it is a playboy that is reading, somebody is reading, the light does not take on any dharma. So that is sakshi. It is only sakshi witnesses the whole thing. So it does not take on the qualities of what do you really see. And similarly, Sakshi awareness does not take. Sometimes the mind takes it, okay? When you witness something, so which is a scene, amusing, you are amused, okay? You are amused. Something that is melancholic, sad, you also become sad. You seem to take on the qualities of the objects you perceive. Well, that is true, that the mind is possible. For the mind it is possible because it has got its own likes and dislikes, and therefore the mind can undergo, yes, a change correspondingly, whatever that it happens to confront with, well, it can undergo a corresponding change. Sometimes it may be indifferent, sometimes it may be elated, sometimes it may be, it may feel wretched. All these possible changes are possible for the ahankara. So seeing that it can respond, but Atma, what does it do? It witnesses the response of the ahankara too. In the sense, so that very responses are lighted up by which light of awareness? That awareness for that where is waking, where is nitya sakshinaha. So the nitya sakshinaha, so nitya jnanasya sakshinaha, which is always in the form of awareness, and which is nitya jnana means always in the form of awareness, eternal awareness, non-changing, unchanging, invariable awareness, which does not undergo any change, which assumes the status of witness with reference to the three states of experience, which itself is jnanam, which itself is awareness, called witness with reference to the three states of experience. And for that, how can there be three states of experience? Definitely not. So thus he concludes, samsara is not for the Atma. Even the three states of experience are purely incidental. It is not for the Atma. It continues to be a witness, even though it is a witness. A peculiar state here is, it is a witness with reference to states of experience. At the same time, it is not involved with anything too. It is not involved in waking or dream or deep sleep, even though all the three states of experience cannot really exist without the Atma. And therefore he says, so nitya sakshinaha me katam syuhu, all the three. Now you say Brahman is something, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is, you said Atma. That means Atma is Satchidananda. It does not undergo any change. Now I see that I am changing. When I was born, I was a baby. Then afterwards I grew up. Then I grew up as a girl, and then as a young woman. Then even though some people call me baby, but still I am not a baby. And therefore, so that's the setup anyway. So they say that I don't become a baby just because somebody calls me baby. I don't become a baby. And so I have been changing. I am not the same baby. When I was born a baby, then I have been growing all right. And now I am an old man. Where is the question of my being the same all the time? I have got my story. So I have got my entire story. I can tell you all the story, what all had happened. All these happenings for the Atma, all the vikaras for the Atma, all these modifications, changes are for the Atma. And therefore, how can you say I am changeless? This is one argument. He wants to make it clear. So it's not a big argument, but anyway, wants to make it clear. And therefore he says, Shad vikara vatam veta nirvikaro homanyata tad vikara anusandhanam sarvata navakalpate. Shad vikaravatam veta. The physical body, what was born? You said baby, you were a baby. And that what was born is the physical body, live physical body. That's why we say jayate. We say born. Born, is it alive? Then the question. It has to be there in order to undergo some changes. So, jayate asti. Jayate asti. Suppose born and gone away. Useless like time, Born, gone. No. Jayate. Then asti. Asti remains in time. Remains in time, the same body remains in time, undergoing some changes. It remains in time, it remains. And therefore, jayate asti. Asti means, so it's sattvam. It has got, in time, it has got sattvam, it has got existence, asti. Okay. The baby continues to live all right. Then afterwards what? Vardhate. Kalena, in time, what does it do? It grows. Vardhate. Grows and grows and grows. Then what happens? Viparinamate. Then it undergoes a total change. Becomes an adult. Viparinamate. All right. Then what happens? So Viparinamate undergoes a change, a lot of change. Emotional changes, biological changes, so physical changes. All the vikaras, the fellows, so all they begin to grow beard and shaving and things like that, and hairstyle and afro and whatnot. Everything's all changes, a lot of changes take place. The whole world is bad. The whole universe, So in teenage you complain against the universe. And so you complain against the universe, all that is, all changes take place. And then further changes, further changes, further changes. Then thoda sa subdued. That means he has reached 25. So 25 reached means then things all become different. So after a storm, after a storm everything quietens down. And similarly now, kya karo? Let us join the college, state college, get a degree. That's how viparinamate. So this is all viparinama, this is all parinama. Then afterwards slowly things all begin to decline. Begin to decline. Require glasses, starts with glasses. And so viparinamate, apakshiyate. Apakshiyate. Then there is a decline. Then declension is how it is. So apakshiyate, vinashyati. Declension is, so goes on, the graph is like this and then remains as though, so imperceptibly declining, then perceptibly declining. That's all. So there is an imperceptible declension, then a perceptible declension. Then afterwards what? Vinashyati. Vinashyati means dies away. This is called Shad Vikaras, 6 modifications. A physical body. Any body that is born will have these 6. Whether it is a tree, or it is a bug, or it is a physical body, human body. Anything that is born alive will have these 6-fold modifications. Asti, jayate, asti, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyate. Therefore, shad vikaravan deha. The deha, the physical body, has these 6-fold modifications. And the one, he says, that the body is shad vikaravatam veta. The veta, the knower of these 6-fold modifications. The knower of the 6-fold modifications. Well, sadvikaravatam veta nirvikara. Nirvikaroham aham veta. Saha nirvikara. Nirvikara means no modification. Why? Think of that. If the 6-fold modifications, I am able to appreciate that my physical body was a baby body before, then it was young, etc. If I am able to appreciate all this, the one who appreciates that, aham, that is me, and that one should be nirvikaraha. Nirvikaraha means should have no modification. Should have no modification. So free from modification, I am there. So aham nirvikaraha. I am nirvikara. Myself, I don't undergo any modification. Now nirvikaroham. Why? Because anyatha, otherwise, tadvikarānusandhānam sarvata navakalpate. Anyatha, otherwise, suppose, otherwise means if I also change, why not, Swamiji? Body changes, I change, why not? I also change. Body changes, I change. Why not? All right. If body changes, you change. Then who is going to recognize the changes? Think of that. The body changes, you also along with the body change. You also change. Then who is going to recognize the changes? There must be someone who has to recognize the changes. Who is the one who recognizes the changes? Well, the one who was before the change, the one who is after the change. It is that fellow who can recognize the change. And that fellow also changes, then you require another fellow who has to see, oh, Âtmá is changing, and the body also changing, the mind also changing, and then there must be another Âtmā, someone else who says that Âtmā changes, and the mind changes, body changes, whole world changes. Then who is making the statement? I. Do you change? I also change. If you change also, then how do you know that you change? Well, then you require another I to mark the changes of the aham. No, 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 I cannot change. The very fact that I am a Shadvikaravatam Veta, the very fact that I am able to know, appreciate the changes taking place in the body, that itself, that very fact itself proves the fact that aham nirvikaraha, I am free from any modification, change. Nirvikaro. This is necessary, you know. Swamiji, I must have got this long ago. This is another argument they give, you know. Swamiji, I wish that you had come some 30 years ago. I have wasted my life. 70 years, now I am 70-year-old man. Now what is the use of getting all these? I have wasted all my life. Now nothing enters into my head. So my mind is moving very, very slowly. And you talk fast. And that too in Indian English. It's a problem for me. I don't see very well. And therefore, Swami, I wish that you had come 30, 40 years ago. Why? I am old. I am old. He says, no, I am not old. You ask me to talk little slowly, I will do it, okay? But then, don't tell me you are old. How do you know that you are old? Swamiji, my body has aged. It is 70 years. You know that? 70-year-old body it is. How do you know? I know. I know that this body has been changing. It's all old now. It cannot move. And you know all this. Shadvikaravatam Veta aham. That means you are not old. That's very nice to know, you know. So, that you are not old. Really, it is true. Don't think that I am only... So, I am not giving you some mental health. Understand? It is not mental health pep talk. So, it is a fact. You know, all the young fellows will say, don't think you are very old, etc. So, this fellow is young. And so, he requires a big talk when he gets old. But now you will tell, oh, no, you are not old. You are much more. You are not old. Nobody is old and all that. You can just talk. I know very well my back pain. I know my knees, joints are all just stiff. Stiff, already they are stiff. And therefore, so before the body becomes stiff, already they are stiff already. And therefore my legs are stiff. My everything is stiff. Everything is stiff. Except my mind. All are stiff. Only certain things are loose. My hands are loose. All joints are stiff. So this kind of a state, if a fellow is, how can you say that he is not old? He is old. Well, unless you shift his vision, he is old. You shift his vision here, Shadvikaravadam Veta Nirvikara. It is not mental health pep talk. It is a fact that the aham, the I is not old. And we don't say the body is not old. In our, of course, speaking, a rock that is lying there is definitely older than you. Okay? So, from the standpoint of a rock, definitely your age is nothing, 70 years is nothing. That blessed thing has been there for millions of years. One simple rock that is lying on the road, it has seen millions of years. Then what is it with reference to rock that you are nothing, 70 years is nothing. But from the standpoint of a human being, sure, 70 years is old age. You say it's old age. All right? Body is old. From our standpoint, it is old. Geologically, it is not. So definitely from the standpoint of a geologist, it is nothing. But then from the standpoint of a human physical body, sure, it is old. That fact is accepted. But I am old is different from the body is old. It is not verbal. That I, on the I, centered on I, is age, which is a mistake, which is a silly mistake. That I am nirvikaraha. If I am not nirvikara anyata, he says, vikara anusandhanam. The vikara anusandhanam, the anusandhanam means the recognition of the vikara, of these sixfold vikara, sixfold modifications. In no way it is possible. Na sambhavati, na avakalpite. So, he says, na avakalpite. So, anyata tad vikara anusandhanam sarvata na avakalpate. Tasya vikaravadaha vikaranam anusandhanam. So, in sarvata na avakalpate. In no way, in every way, in all ways it is not possible. In no way it is possible. Okay? No way. No way? What is that? No way. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. It is not possible. In no way, Jose. I learned from a child, today this. No way, Jose. It is possible. Navakalpate, sarvata, navakalpate, na sambhavati ityartha. If that also changes, which he makes it very clear. No, he makes it clear now. He says, he makes it clear in the next verse. Why it is not possible? Because tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhuhu vikari vastu tasyaisham anusandhatrita kutaha. Why it's not possible? He says, how it is possible? Because if Âtmā also changes, why not? Let us take it that way. No, you can always imagine, Âtmā changes, everything changes. One fellow says that also. There's a philosophy. I told you, it's called Kshanika Vijnanam. So everything changes, Âtmā also changes. If Âtmā also changes, okay, Âtmā also undergoes change, that the knower, the consciousness of the knower, that's all what is said there. The consciousness of the knower, if that also undergoes change, that Âtmā, that Chaitanya Âtmā, the ultimate knower, that Âtmā also undergoes change. Do you know what happens? He says, so here, look here. Tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhuhu vikari vastu. Now, suppose here is an object. So he is born as an object, like a clay pot, or the body. So the body is born. When it is, or a pot is born. How it is born? In that pot form. With that pot form, tena rupena, in whichever form it is born, in that form it is born. In whichever form it is made, in that form it is born. Okay? Then afterwards, it is born. Then liyate, tena hi rupena, vikari vastu, an object that undergoes change, modification. Every time it undergoes a modification, The Vikari Vastu cannot look at its own Vikara because itself undergoes a change. The physical body cannot look at itself undergoing a change, because who will look at this Vastu change? Suppose the physical body is born, then undergoes a lot of changes. Somebody should necessarily, somebody should be distinct from the changing object to recognize the change, the previous condition and the present condition. So one should necessarily know to mark a change. And all because the object itself has undergone a change, and therefore it cannot know its own changes. And therefore he says, Vikari Vastu tena tena rupena jayate liyate muhuhu. Muhu means again and again. It is born, means it is born now in a particular form and undergoes a change, and then particular form and again undergoes a change. Then old form is gone, a new form is gained, that also is gone, another form is gained. That form itself cannot know, the change. How can it know? Because the previous one is gone, now it is there. Suppose the previous one is standing out of the object, then it can say, oh, this is changing. The previous one is already gone, because the object that is undergoing change is one that has given up its original form and it has become this. Like even a bud becomes a flower and itself withers away, the fruit is there. Therefore the fruit will not know that I was a flower. The fruit will not know that I was a flower. How will it know? Because the fruit was not there at the time when flower was there. Means the object itself cannot know that I had undergone this change. How will it know? And another thing, any object that undergoes change itself is jadam. Jadam means what? Inert. So any changing object, it is a statement. It is a statement. Any object that undergoes change is inert. Is inert. Means itself does not know anything. And itself cannot know. Any object that undergoes change is inert. And that which you may say the physical body is sentient, how can you say inert? Well, if it is sentient, it is because of some other thing, but itself is inert if it undergoes a change. The body itself is not a conscious being. If the body itself is a conscious being, then body will be the knower. Body will be the I. It will never be known. It will never be known. Therefore, the body's consciousness is due to the presence of consciousness through the mind, which is identified with the body. Then only the body becomes conscious. We will see that later. And therefore, an object itself undergoing a change cannot recognize its own itself. And so, tena tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhuhu vikari vastu tasya yesham tasya vikari vastunaha yesham vikaranam anusandhatvata kutaha. Means for that vikari vastu, the object that undergoes a change, how can it know that I have undergone a change? So that status of being a recognizer of the changes is not possible. Kutaha, how it is possible? For the very object itself. I think he makes it clear in the next verse. That is, if Âtmā, idea is this, if Âtmā itself undergoes a change, then that the Âtmā undergoes a change. How do you know that Âtmā has undergone a change? If you say, then neither you will know what is the body undergoes a change or the mind undergoes a change. That neither you will know any of the changes, nor you will know the Âtmā's changes. Âtmā undergoes a change means then the Âtmā that has undergone a change means the previous condition is gone, new condition has come. Then how does that Âtmā know? Because the same Âtmā which was in one condition is now in another condition. How does it know? Unless it is distinct from it. Unless it is distinct from it. If the Âtmā is distinct from it, then it does not undergo the change. It becomes Sakshi, then Âtmā, that becomes nirvikara, free from changes. This is made clear. Why? Because a thing cannot know its own birth in as much as it was not there before its birth. Simple. So, swajanmam nasham va, swajanma nasham va. So, he says, drashtu marhati kaschana. Kaschana, any one thing, any one person, so his own janma, his own birth or his own death will not be able to see. Why? Tell me now, what can you see? Only when what is available when you obtain. Okay? You must obtain to see something that takes place. Therefore, when you are there, you can see whatever happens to you. So you are there, then you can see whatever happens to you. Through a means of knowledge, etc., if you have got, then you can see what happens to you. So you must be there, the observer must be there for one to mark any birth or any death. Death is departure. Birth is beginning. The beginning and departure, so the birth and death, both of them can be marked only by a person who is there at the time of birth. Okay, that is true. Now, why? Because, so how do you mark your birth? Tell me. The mark of birth is nothing but, the birth is, how do you mark the birth? The mark of birth involves one thing. There must be somebody who was observing the absence of the object born right now. The absence of the object born right now. Otherwise, how will you mark the birth? How will you mark the birth? That is why, your date of birth is always a problem. Because at that time, even though you are there, you are not a conscious being to mark. Means you are not a conscious being good enough, evolved enough to mark. As you are born, to mark the time. You don't tell mother, come on mother, what is time? Tell me right now. You don't say when you are born, because later, so horoscope will be a problem. Come on, tell me what is the time. You cannot, or as you are born, immediately you don't look at the watch and then cry. You don't do that. Because the mind was not ready, okay? You are a conscious being, all right, not ready. Now what? The birth, in fact, birth is not, you can say the birth in this form, a thing that was non-existent before is born right now, okay? Is born right now. Previously it was not. A pot is born. Let us say, a pot is born. What was the born pot? What is the birth of a pot? I will say, the prior non-existence of the pot. So far it has been non-existing. Pot has been non-existing. This is called prior non-existence, prak abhava. Of what? Pot. Just for analysis. So don't think there is prior non-existence and posterior non-existence. Don't worry about. So this is purely previous. So far this pot was never seen, never existed. It in fact, from anadi kala, from beginningless time, this pot did not exist. It is beginningless. From the beginningless time, this pot did not exist. Now it is born. That means the prior non-existence of the pot ends. The prior non-existence comes to an end when the pot is born. Is it not true? The birth of a pot is the end of the prior non-existence. That means the last second of the prior non-existence is the last second ended, that is the first second of the pot's existence. Okay? The existence of the pot begins, and the beginning point of the existence of the pot is the end point of the prior non-existence of the pot. Okay? Okay. Now what is death? Tell me now. You can tell me. The last second of the pot's existence is what? is the first second of the later non-existence of the part. 2 points. Now, to mark the part, therefore, you must see both what the prior non-existence you must be aware of. Coming to an end, the prior non-existence coming to an end, you must see in order to see the birth of the part. You must also see the beginning of the posterior non-existence to mark the death of part. That means you must survive the death of part. You can say part is dead and gone. Similarly, part is born. You must exist before the part is born. Take a thought in your head. Thought in your mind, okay? Thought in your head means don't search for it. So thought in your mind. Suppose here is a thought. This thought is born now. You are thinking of a pot. So the pot thought is born right now. You think of a pot now. What are you thinking? Pot. The pot thought. You are thinking of a pot thought. Now this pot thought, did you think of pot before? No. How do you know? Because I saw the absence of the pot thought coming to an end right now. The pot thought is born right now. You must be the observer, available to observe the absence of the prior, the absence of thought coming to an end. Pot is born. Pot thought is born. Pot thought is gone now. Why? You know, because you survived. The pot thought, observing the death of the pot thought, which is the beginning of the absence of pot thought. Again the pot thought is gone, and therefore the absence of pot thought, later absence of pot thought, prior absence of pot thought, both must be seen in order to arrive at beginning and end. Okay? This is very clear. And so this begins, if this ends, this begins. Like you know, when you drive. So suppose you are, the California state ends. Okay? So somewhere at one point the state ends. Nevada begins. Nevada begins. And you say it begins. Where does it begin? So where does it end? Both are there. So you can say this ends here, it begins there. So it's all at one point. And so you must see the end of this is to mark the beginning of this. To mark the beginning of that is to mark the end of this. This is how beginning and end is understood. One ends, the other begins. And similarly, he says, Swajanma nasham va drashtu marhati kaschana. Assume Âtmā, the knower, the awareness knower, is born, let us say. If it is born, the born Âtmā will not know. Born Âtmā will not know I am born. It will not know. Okay? Now, so gone Âtmā will not know that I am gone. Okay? To say that I am changing, to say, you must have a pramana, you know, that I am changing. Âtmā savikaraha. Âtmā vikaravan. Âtmā undergoes change. How do you know? How do you know? Come on. So Âtmā undergoes change. This fellow says, body undergoes change, I accept. And I see the body undergoing changing, I accept. The Âtmā also undergoes change. How do you know? How do you know that Âtmā undergoes change? Because I am aware of my changes. Eh? How can you say that? How can you say so? Your own birth you cannot mark because you are not there. You are not there before to mark the birth of yourself. So you must be someone who is distinct for the Âtmā to be born, to be marked, because you must be existent before the birth of Âtmā, and you must be existent after the death of Âtmā also. Then you can say Âtmā is born, Âtmā is gone, a new Âtmā is born now, that is gone. All the changes, etc., you can mark only when there is someone else who is what? Who Nirvikaraha. Who is Nirvikaraha doesn't undergo any change. In fact, it is just impossible for anyone to conceive any type of modification on the part of Âtmā. It cannot take place. You must have a pramana for it. If you have to know, if you simply say that, oh, Âtmā undergoes a change. If you say simply, simply just you make enthusiastically make a statement without thinking, I have nothing to argue with you. But then, if you say, no Swamiji, I have figured it out. Âtmā undergoes change. I looked into myself. Âtmā undergoes change. If you say, then I have got something to tell you. You tell me, how did you come up with that idea? Âtmā undergoes change. Because I saw yesterday. Âtmā is changing, you say. I saw yesterday. Âtmā is changing. Which Âtmā? Which I saw Âtmā changing. I saw Âtmā changing. That I saw, you know. So I saw that I. That Âtmā. That is Âtmā. Changing is different. That changing Âtmā. I saw that I is the Âtmā. Âtmā means I. That I. How do you know that it changes? It cannot change. That is the reason why you can mark all the changes in your mind. And the irony of it is, you mark all the changes of the mind and the body too, and then say, I am getting old. That is the beauty of the whole thing. And I mark the changes, and all the time mark the changes. Nirvikaroham. I am Nirvikara. Then you say, I say, I am old. This is one thing, the new thing I heard recently. That is, Swamiji, I don't say I am old. So I am worried, my body is old. Do you think of that? I am considered the body is only change of language. You know, the sadhus, some sadhus are there, and they were told, so that after all the sadhus are taught that Vedanta, he has listened to, why is a sadhu? He needn't be a sadhu. Here also I find some letters I once I used to receive from somebody. But listen to this Vedanta. This person will never say I, because somebody told this ahankara is the problem. And so the body is not I. The ahankara should be eliminated. It's all said. And now this person, this woman used to say, this will be coming tomorrow. I asked the person, I said, did you have your lunch? This did not have lunch. Are you ready for lunch? This is ready for lunch. Nothing has changed. This is ready for lunch. And what do you take? Coke. What do you take? This will take Coke. Previously I was taking Coke. Now this will take Coke. This is the only change. There is no other change. This will take Coke. This is simply because by saying this will take Coke, you don't understand. That doesn't mean you have understood that you understood what Âtmā is. If you know that I awareness doesn't take Coke, if you know that, then you can use the word I will take Coke. It's no problem. Anyway, you know it anyway. The very fact that you are saying this doesn't take Coke or this takes Coke, etc. shows there is a fundamental problem. This is all verbalized. Understand? They will say, Swamiji, I am awareness, that is all very clear to me. But the body is old. How does it become your problem? Is that really just, it's a very serious thing it is. Is that really a problem which can be called a problem if it is not centered on I? Vedanta is hardly understood by people. Can you call it a problem if it is not centered on I? Any problem you tell me. Can you call it a problem if it is not centered on I? No. It's all I. How do you get that problem? Again, judgment of I. From one thing or the other. You put it differently. You only change the problem. Say that, I am all right, but then, Swamiji, but this body is old. I say, body is old. Let it be old. That means it has survived all these years. It's a great thing. It is old body. So what? Swamiji, body is not healthy. All right, not healthy. Do what is to be done. But I am not healthy is the problem. Body is not healthy is a situation. Is a situation. I am not healthy is a problem. You must understand an unpleasant situation, an uncomfortable situation, and which is entirely different from a problem centered on I. This I jumps into any situation, or any situation is imputed to I. Then you create a problem out of it. Then afterwards you put it in a different language. And so if you have known Vedanta, you will put it in Vedantic language. Swamiji, I am all right. The Upadhi is giving me problems. Upadhi problems. Swamiji, you have got good Upadhi, therefore you are okay. I have got a bad Upadhi. There is no good Upadhi ever made, I tell you what. Never was made a good Upadhi. Think of that. Which body doesn't have problems? One body. Vyadi grastam kalebar. Any one physical body, including Carl Lewis. And that fellow, even though he has a gifted body, I tell you, he was very careful. He didn't want to jump again. Do you know why? Because he didn't want to have in his brain or anything. Which body? Which body which is free from illness? In fact, the definition of a physical body is shariram. I mean, the very shariram means that. So, Siriyaman, you have got two words for the physical body. One is called deha. The other is called sharira. You can choose between the two. Shariram means that which is Siryamana Swabhava. That which is subject to disintegration is body. The other one, oh, you don't like that. You don't like that. Okay, you have the other one. Deha means dahana yogyaha deha. So that which is subject to getting burnt. What do you want? Either of the two choose. You know, you can choose between the two. Do you want deha or sharira? Vyadi grastam kalevar. I tell you one thing. Only one thing that is safe. In the creation, there is only one thing that is safe. Anything that doesn't have any part. That which is partless alone is safe. Anything that has got parts will always problems. Your physical body has got spare parts, tell me. Or is it one mass or something? So then if it is, then there is no problem. There is no one mass really. Mass means a lot of cells, same type of cells, only mass. So you think of, so one thing, even one cell is full of parts. Are there parts? Yes. Then loda. So definitely, if there are parts, definitely one day or the other they will be taking, like our Indian car, I told you. You know. So Indian roads are such, then after some time, you will see, I told you, every spare part in the car you will hear except the horn. You will hear the noise. Everything will make noise except the horn. So the other body full of parts. If it is full of parts, then definitely they are put together. Are they put together? Yes. Well, well, you will find that there will be problems. They will become loose. becomes stiff. Is there a joint? Yes, it will become stiff. Or loose, either of this. Either loose or stiff. Make some noise also. Any door you take, either it won't open or it will never stay. And therefore it moves all over. Or makes noise, screech. It will make noise also. Anyone. This is how it is. Even gates of heaven will be like that. That's why there are gatekeepers there. Because it's a very huge gate, I tell you. Because to keep a lot of people away, so there are a lot of gates. And so, anywhere where there are joints are there, things put together, they will disintegrate. There is no physical body ever made which is considered to be perfect. Because it's not creation anyway. Creation is meant to be imperfect. That's how it is. Because everything you can't put together. Perfect creation means there will be no creation at all. So you must put certain things together. And you give a nose to a man, and give a dog also a nose, and put something little more there, little less here. You'll find it's like this. Any creation has to be limited if it has a certain individuality. And mind also is the same. You may say, Swamiji, you can say all this. So you have a mind. Then I don't remember anything. This is another topic they tell me also. This is all silly. Every mind is limited. In fact, most informed mind is the most the most humble mind. You know what? Because the fellow who knows a lot knows exactly what all he doesn't know. He is the one who knows it. And so, any amount of knowledge you have, it will limit it. Only one thing that can make the difference. That is, I am whole. Knowledge of the whole is not of part. That is why it is possible. That is why it will stay. That is why it can be final. That is why it is easy also. Suppose I want to show you what is forest. That is an easy job for me. I have to simply take you into the forest, and you will see the forest, and take you in a helicopter and fly you over the forest and show this is forest. You have understood? So what is forest to know? It doesn't take time. Suppose you want to know what are all things in the forest, what all trees are there. Well, you require botany. All those words you know that you can never roll them off your mouth. And those words you must know. And also you must be able to identify. And you will always find that there are one or two things which you don't know what it is. Many. And therefore, if you have to know everything, and also a tree, you take one tree, and then why this tree is like this? Oh, there is a lot of research. You can spend your entire lifetime researching all about a leaf. All about a leaf. One leaf is enough. Leaf also everything you need not. One thing, that chlorophyll is good enough. How does the tree synthesize the chlorophyll to make the leaf green? How does it do? That's enough. You had it. You must go to God to find out what is the answer. And therefore, your generations of research can take place anywhere. And so, if you want to know the details, you are lost. You can know that. That doesn't mean you should not live. Don't conclude, Swamiji, therefore I don't want details. Is it? You better know the details. That is endless. That is the fun. This is the fun, I say. The whole fun in the creation is details only. Fun is details. And the details will be fun only if you know the whole. If you don't know the whole, the details will swallow you. Will simply swallow you. You will be lost in your cells. And so worried about the cells. New problem. Somebody said these cells are changing for you. Now you are worried. Previously you were worried. Now you are saying my cells are changing. Fastly changing. It's a new way of new problems. Anyway, well, therefore, the whole alone can be understood because it has no parts. That alone can be called jnanam, in fact. And everything else is purely fun. It's all, there are some as though problems and as though solutions. It's all fun. Why a fellow is really interested in solving a puzzle? Suppose you give him a puzzle, and that fellow, he cannot keep quiet, he has to solve the puzzle. Why? Why? Fun. Fun solving a puzzle. For some fellows it will become serious also. They break their head. But still it is fun, I would say. Still it is fun. It's some challenge and therefore it's fun. Nobody is paid for it. So, a simple puzzle, you are just enjoying. Similarly, the whole creation is a puzzle. It is a puzzle. Any one thing is a puzzle. You keep on trying. Rubik's Cube. And give up also. In the Rubik's Cube, Rubik's Cube, that is gone now. So that now there are other versions, I am told. And so you keep on trying to solve it. That's the fun about it. Just solve some challenges further. It's very good. Certain things are open so that you can live for some time. If everything is hidden, it's a problem. So certain things are open so that you can conduct your life. Certain things are hidden so that you can fun in life. Okay? To survive, certain things are open good enough. Even a tiger knows, a bug knows, a mosquito knows where to bite. In fact, the doctors try to poke where the artery is, where the vein is. So the doctors have to find out where it is, but not a mosquito, because it has no time. It has to land on you straight. It lands on you, pokes, and then it's gone. By the time you do this, it is gone. So that is what they call survival knowledge. That's why I love this creation. Do you know why? Because enough knowledge is given to you to conduct. All stone men in the Stone Age, when they did not know what was edible, what was not edible, they didn't have macrobiotics. They didn't know anything about A, B, C, D vitamins and all that. They didn't know anything about protein, carbohydrate, calories and things like that. They simply put things inside. And so then you find, and so, do you know they survived? Do you know they survived? How do you know they survived? You tell me. How do you know that they survived? How? How do you know? Huh? You are here with so much of intelligence. You are here. All this intelligence came from that stone man, remember? And therefore, they all survived to produce such great wise men here. And wise women too. And so they were all not ordinary fellows, good enough to produce us. It is the same genes coming down. And therefore, there is always that something open. That's the beauty of creation. There is enough open for you to survive. There is enough hidden so that there can be fun. After surviving, what should I do? Tell me. Suppose you survive. And everything is clear to you. Then there is no fun. There is no puzzle. There is no mystery. There is no probing. There is no exploration. There is nothing. I say, it will be just you have to rot. And therefore, so that is why there is something open to keep you going and lot of mysteries so that you can explore and enjoy. And you can enjoy it, do you know when? Only when you know the whole. Otherwise, you will think that you are isolated, fears and anxieties. How can you enjoy? The whole world will enjoy. In fact, in your life, those who enjoy are the bugs inside you. They enjoy green life. They have a safe, nice place. They enjoy. Because they are bugs. They don't have these anxieties, etc. And therefore, they are the only ones that enjoy. Animals enjoy. Well, therefore, This is a new way of talking, that my upadhi is bad. Every upadhi is bad. There is no such thing as a completely informed mind. There is no such mind. There can be a mind which is enlightened in the sense with reference to the whole. I know myself, which is not a great deal. What is a great deal? If you ask Swami, he's an enlightened man, you ask him, what do you know? He won't say anything. What do you know? He will say maximum. Do you know yourself? Yes, I know. Then should he go around and saying, I know myself? Should he say, I know myself? So is it a victory or what? I know myself, you can't even talk. You can't talk about it. What is the big deal to know yourself? That is minimum expected of you anyway. That is why, when the children tell the parents, then what are you studying now? You are going to the camp, what for? I told you the other day. Oh, to know about the self. What? They think that there is something wrong with you. Suppose enthusiastically you say, I am studying to know about the self. What is that? What is the self? What is that you are searching for? Because it looks so silly to search for yourself. But there is something that one should know. That self happens to be the whole. And in fact, I am searching for myself. And because I am searching for the whole, I am searching freedom. I am searching for freedom from isolation. That freedom I am. And therefore, everybody is searching for the whole. I am the whole. Which is not a great deal. But it makes a great deal of difference in life. Then everything else is fun. Whether the body is limited or the mind is limited, it is limited anyway. If it is limitless, you can't enjoy. That's why I say I always sympathize with God. Because there is no mysteries. He gave all the fun to me. That poor fellow, he is sitting there all the time, omniscient. Okay, thank you. Tomorrow morning. Okay.